To Ivan Eland, he's a senior fellow and director of the Centre for Peace and Liberty at the Independent Institute. Ivan, first things first then, I mean, we can come to the jobs and the economic fallout from all of this, but what is your take? Has Trump blinked? Was it bad economics? I mean, what do you make of his actions over the last 48 hours? Was he spooked by the markets?
I think he was spooked by the markets, and particularly the bond market, because I think the Japanese were about ready to dump treasuries. And that's, of course, people all across the world invest in U.S. Treasury because it's regarded as a safe investment. But the real problem with all this is the uncertainty and the hit to the reputation of the U.S. of being a reliable economic and political system to invest in, and I think that's that's the real long-term toll of all this. Even if he does return some manufacturing to the U.S., which is really in doubt because most of the manufacturing left because of technology and robotics rather than the price differentials. Although labor costs are some of it, but the whole thing is just bonkers.
Lots of people might say the exact same thing, that it all might just be a little bit bonkers. But if you were listening to what our correspondent, John Brain, was talking about, he was saying, of course, that, you know, Trump blames China for, of course, the manufacturing losses. I mean, you say there are other variables involved. He also was talking about that Beijing will stick to their guns. So can the world really afford to have this full blitz trade war between China and the US? And, you know, just before, you know, we were talking about the effect all of this is going to have on consumers. You know, prices are going to go up. And then, of course, for businesses, people might just lose their jobs.
Well, it's very simple. Countries, people, companies trade internationally because it's mutually beneficial for them to do so. If you start interfering with that, which is what tariff and non-tariff barriers are, everybody loses. And consumers first lose, and nobody ever says, well, we're going to help this industry or bring this industry back. That's great for the people who work in those industries or the company or the people who own them. But what about the consumers where the prices hit the roof? I mean, our tariff rate is usually about 2 to 3%, and even if he, pauses this reciprocal trade, that's a good thing, I guess. But we have to revisit it in 90 days. Who knows what his mood will be in 90 days? But even now we've raised the base level of tariffs on all countries 10%, and then of course we have 25% on steel, aluminum, and autos. So prices are going to go up, as your lead-in said, and probably by a lot for U.S. consumers and consumers elsewhere as well if there's retaliation.
Well, you know, I think a lot of people are also trying to understand, you know, why did Trump do this? I mean, I've seen old clips from him from, I think, the 90s or 2000s, and it seems that he has long had this ideology. But to the question of why he did it, I mean, some are also saying that he's, you know, the accusations against Donald Trump, that he was trying to cause some kind of market manipulation because he posted, I think, on his social media that it was a great time to buy just hours before he then made that dramatic U-turn on his trade war. What have you made of that?
Well, it's possible. I mean, there's all sorts of insider trading that goes on, a lot more than we know. But it's that is a possibility. But there's also the psychological possibility that he just wants all these countries to come in and have to deal with him, you know, come on bended knee to him to make a deal. And apparently some countries are doing that, but that some may have a psychological benefit for him because he seems to like to have people do that, not only in trade, but in policy and that sort of thing. So it could be a combination of psychological, maybe insider trading, who knows? Nobody's proved that, but I think some senators are now and congressmen are now saying we need to investigate that possibility given some of the stuff he's put on social media.
Indeed, and while we all keep guessing, unfortunately, stocks keep going down. Ivan Eland, we're going to have to leave it there, but great to talk to you as always.